So now let's talk about some advanced draft features. Now here I have a very simple part again, and in this case, let's for a moment assume that we are making this part with injection molding. Now the mold which we are using for this part will split somewhere in between this part, so exactly maybe at the center, and the mold will move in both the directions. So half of the mold will move in upward direction and half of this mold will move in the downward direction. So we need draft in both the direction for this part. So in that case, you can actually add a split line right here and then add two drafts in both the direction, and you can reverse the direction of pull for both. Now let's do that. And before we do that, we need to create a split line. So I'll go to curves, split line, and here I will select the intersection option. And now I'm going to select this top plane, and here I'll select all of these faces. So with that, we'll have a split line which we can use for draft. All right, so with that, we now have this split line. Now this will be the line from where we can change the angle of draft. So let's go to draft, and now I'll go to manual draft. All right, now the type of draft which I need to select here is parting line, and this is the parting line here. But before we select that, we just need to select the direction of pull. So first direction of pull is this. So in this direction, half of the mold will separate. And now select the parting line. So here we can just select this single parting line, and SolidWorks will select all the parting lines if you select tangent propagation. So as you can see, we have a tangent option. Select this along tangent, and all of these are actually fillets here, so they are all tangent. So now just select one of these lines and SolidWorks will select all of these. So here is the direction of pull, and with that you can see the direction along parting line as well. All right, now if you want to change the direction and if you want to move it to other face, then click here, and that's going to just change the direction towards this face. Now if you want to see what change it's going to make, then click this preview, and here you can see the changes. So now it's going to affect this plane, and the neutral plane is still this. So all the angles are measured from this plane. So I'll just uncheck this preview option and I'll click on other face so that only these faces are affected. All right, so with that, I'll now click OK, and here we have the draft. Now in this case, we can add draft in two steps. We just cannot add a single draft for both the directions. So once you have added the draft for this direction, you can go to the draft feature again, and again you can just repeat the steps. So we have the parting line, and the direction of pull in this case will be this. And once again, the parting line is this, but before that I'll select the tangent propagation and I'll select any one of these edges, and now this is the direction where we want to add the draft. Angle is of course 3 degrees, and I'll click OK, and here we are, we have got the draft. So with that, we have added draft like this, and it is tapering here inside. From here also it is tapering inside, and if the mold moves in these two directions, it will be a lot easier to kind of remove this part from the mold. So that's why we use these kind of draft features with a split line. Now let's talk about the last kind of draft feature, and for that I'll use this drawing. Now in this case, we will use this kind of sketch as the parting line, and as you can see, we have this kind of a step here. So it's not a straight parting line, so in this case we'll use the step draft. So the first thing is, once again, we just need to create the parting line. So I'll go to curve, split line, and I'll select projection. So we'll select the sketch, which is this one, and then we'll select the face. So here I'll select all the faces. I'll just create it on all of these 4 faces and click OK. So now we have the split line created here, and we'll use this split line to create the draft. Also, we can hide the sketch. So I'll just hide the sketch. Now let's go to draft, and here I'll select this step draft option. Now select the draft angle and then select the direction of pull. Now for the direction of pull, in this case, I'm going to select one of the default planes. So I'll just expand this one and I'll select maybe this top plane. Now this top plane is actually where we have created this parting line, and that's why I'm just selecting it on purpose. So select this one, and now with that selected, select the parting lines. So this is the parting line, and so is this, this, and this. Now, just like previous example, in this case, these parting lines will affect the faces here. So as you can see, the direction is this one, so that's going to affect this face. But if you want to reverse it, click the other face and that's going to affect the second one. Now in this case, only this one reversed because that's the one which is selected. If you want to reverse it for the second edge, select and click other face, select and click other face, and so on. So in this case, I just want it to affect this face. So I'll just move it here and I'll just select the other face for all of these. So now all of these faces will be affected. All right, so with that, let's just click OK. And this is the kind of draft which we are going to get. Now, this is really hard to see because of the small taper angle. So I'll just exaggerate this one. I'll go to draft feature and here I'll add a 15-degree angle. Now in a real world situation, we don't use this big draft angle. So I'll just click OK just to show you what's going on here. And this is the kind of draft which we are going to get. Now, because we selected a neutral plane which was exactly along this line, there won't be any kind of change here. So this is exactly in line with this plane. So this and this plane actually merge here because of the plane which we selected, the neutral plane. And from here, the changes are going to happen. So this is where the 15 angle will start. So if you make a perpendicular line, this angle, tiny angle, is going to be 15 degrees. Now there is one more thing that we can control here. If you look at it from the top, just look at this feature. Now this feature is created as per the draft which is added. Now I'll go to draft, edit feature, and here if you want to make sure that this feature remains perpendicular, you can select this perpendicular steps. Now this will ensure that right at these points it remains perpendicular. So with that, I'll just click OK, and maybe before clicking OK, let's use a bigger number here, so 20 degrees, and click OK now. All right, and now with that, you can see that this is perfectly perpendicular. So instead of that tapering here, now at these steps, we have perpendicular lines, and that's how you can create these step drafts. So in this case, the step draft is created considering this one as the neutral plane, but if you change the neutral plane, the feature here will change. Now finally, let's do that. So I'll go to draft, edit feature, and here I'm just going to select this direction of pull, and for direction of pull, I'll select this one. Now click OK, and the draft which you are going to get is this. Now as you can see, the feature is completely different just because of the direction of pull. So in this case, the angle will be measured from this point because that's where the direction of pull is. If you just measure this small angle, that's going to be 20 degrees, and the draft will affect this face. Of course, that's not what we want. So I'm going to go to draft and I'll change the direction of pull once again back to top and click OK. And here we have the draft.